Hello there, everybody, and welcome to the entertainment headquarters, and welcome to Into the Darkness, the segment on the channel that will talk all things horror within the world of entertainment. And joining me is a ragtag of horror fanatics like myself. Of course, we have one of my regulars, he's also my co host, Mr. DJ Anubis of the Metal Tavern Radio.
What's
Also, yeah,
up?
what's up? And please subscribe to the Metal Tavern Radio. We'll also have from his channel, Mr. Tony of the Dead.
Hello. Thank you for having me again.
Always welcome. And of course, finally, we have Mr. Anthony Jordan of Mr. Anthony Jordan's Movies and Gaming.
He's got the gem. He's got the gin.
Yeah, this came in the mail today. I don't know what to make of it.
So, as you can see, Mr. Anthony Jordan has a little gem in his hand, and it goes back to what we're here to talk about. And we're here to talk about the Wishmaster franchise. Yes, Wishmaster, which came out many, many years ago in 1997, I believe, thanks to Wes Craven. So, quick thought: can you remember when you first heard of this film? We'll go with DJ Anubis when we first heard of Wishmaster.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you didn't have quite the, you're talking about a brand new franchise. Of course, we didn't know it was a franchise at the time. It was just a new movie. But the 90s had its slew of great horror films that were still being made. And so, even though Wes was just producing this one, his name draws a lot of interest. So, plus you had like a lot of like big name actors in the horror genre participating. So you had Robert Englund, Kane Hodder, Tony Todd, and the such joining the cast. And it's so, I think even Raimi's in here somewhere. So it's a lot of fun. Andrew Divoff, the guy that actually plays the Djinn, he did like a lot of great movies as a villain type of character, like even what was it, Graveyard Shift, Toy Soldiers, Hunt for Red October. So I think I did see this one in the theater, actually. I think because the late 90s, I was still pretty much hitting the theaters regularly. Even though you still had your movie stores like Blockbuster and Hollywood Video out there, I think this was one that was actually released in the theater. So it was fun to go check this out, and I enjoyed it immensely. It was like a pretty big success for me. I don't remember how it did at the box office, but it was fun for me.
According to this, it goes on a budget of 5 million and it made 15.7 million at the box office, which isn't a great number, but this is 1997, and
and they made money.
Yeah, it not only made its budget back, but it made a profit on top. And for I guess a medium to low budget horror film, I guess people would consider it. I think that's pretty well done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so Mr. Tony the Dead, what can you remember when you first heard of Wishmaster?
I believe my mother and I went to see this in the theater, and I can remember watching this with her, and like she got like the part where he like says like you don't approve. All right then. Fuck it. Like my mom like never cursed, but she loved saying that part. And like I always think of her, because of this movie. Because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't see it. There was a bunch of horror movies I would never saw before, like Halloween. She introduced me to that too. But yeah, I remember going to the theater to see it with my mom, and it was a good time.
Hey, quick question: was your mom did she influence you a lot with horror? Because with my wife, her grandmother did the same thing. They used to watch. That's the one thing my wife says all the time is that her and her grandmother would watch horror movies all the time. And like even when she was younger, if her grandmother would play jokes like, "Okay, I need you to go downstairs and get this, and this," and then like as my wife, as a kid, would go down there. She would shut the light off and go, boo. You know, so I'm just wondering, because you mentioned your grandmother. Was she a big influence? Our mother was a big influence.
Yeah. She, before she got married to the infant that he is, she was a pretty cool person. She, not that she wasn't, but like, she got me into like, music and stuff that like I never heard before, and horror movies. She told me about when my mom and dad first went on dates, were dating. He took her to see Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and she made him leave because it was too scary for her.
Oh wow!
But yet she wanted me to watch Halloween, and we rented it, and stuff like that. So yeah, I have good memories with this movie with my mom. Like I just remember watching it, which is funny because later on in life, she turned into like the complete opposite kind of person. Like she's there's nothing wrong with it, but like she turned into like a sports lover, and I think it was because of her husband, and she kind of went away from like horror and stuff. So
you brought that up. Similar with me, like my mom got me into horror. I remember what 98 when I seen the trailer for Halloween H2O on TV. I said that looks interesting. The next day she took me to the video store and we rented Halloween 1 and 2.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Well, since you're all hiding stories out there, I'll have one. So when my mum and dad were first dating, it was a very stormy, horrible night, as the UK always has, because the way they are most of the time is shit. So it was a horrible, stormy night, and it was raining, thunderstorm, and my mum and dad had not long started dating. I think they were like 3 or 4 dates in. So on the 5th date, they decided to go to the theatre, and what did they go see? They went to see The Shining. So that was, and my mum always remember it because she was terrified, and what made it worse is they were the only ones in the theatre watching the film. So she says there were loads of people in the theatres, but I don't know if The Shining was coming near the end of its theatrical run or what the circumstances were, but she said she'll always remember that date because she was terrified in the theatres watching The Shining, and it was a rainy, stormy day, and they were the only ones in the theatre watching the film. But we're here to talk about Wishmasters, but we've got some lovely memories there that we've shared. So let's crack on with the Wishmaster. So Wishmaster is a 1997 American dark fantasy horror film directed by Robert Kurtzman. The film was executively produced by Wes Craven and is the only film of the Wishmaster series with his name attached, and I don't know why.
Oh, I do.
Its plot concerns a djinn, a wish-granting evil genie who is released from a jewel and seeks to capture the soul of the woman who discovered him, thereby opening a portal and freeing his fellow djinn to inhabit and enslave the earth. And the film was followed by 3 sequels: Wishmaster 2, Evil Never Dies, Wishmaster 3, Beyond the Gates of Hell, and Wishmaster, The Prophecy Fulfilled. So, let's talk about Wishmaster. Who would like to start? I tell you what, we'll do the opposite of what we normally do. We'll start at the bottom and work our way up to the top. So, Anthony Jordan, you can start off with Wishmaster.
Okay. I really like this one. I love it. Has a interesting cat concept with a lot of great horror alumni in it. And just the concept of this villain that kills you by giving you what you want. You wish for something and you'll get it, but it'll have the most horrible twist. The guy that played the human form I really love because he had this unnerving smile. And since we're talking about the horror alumni, we left one out when we mentioned the other 3. Reggie from the Phantasm movies plays the pharmacist.
Yeah, yeah, I remember
Great
that.
to see.
Yes,
Yep.
I remember that.
And I love that they took time to establish, because I'm a lore junkie. That's why I love things like Warhammer 40K, and I like that they took the time to establish so much backstory and lore, that this stone was created to trap the djinn, that 3 wishes have to be made by the person that awakes him so they can unleash the army of djinn, and it's not good for humanity. This film, you can it made the most of its budget, but it still had some pretty good and downright gruesome practical effects in a great bookend. It begins with a party gone horribly wrong and ends with a party gone horribly wrong. We have a pretty good main character in I like even Robert Englund's role, because he plays this like kind of shady guy that's there. It's just one of those characters that it's hard to peg. There's something you shouldn't like about him, but he still brings enough charisma and charm you want to like him. It's just one of the ones I remember the first time I seen this, I borrowed it from a neighbor, and it was on one of those double-sided DVDs. I remembered liking it, but until I watched it for this, I forgot how much. I'm going to go ahead and say it's a hidden gem of 90s horror. Unintended there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think how I first came across this, like many years, I don't think I didn't watch it on telly. I think my brother actually bought this on video VHS in 1997. I think it came out. I don't know if he had the luxury of seeing it in theaters, but I'm sure he owned the VHS. And I just happened to glance at the cover, which was this poster, and for me, it just looked interesting. And obviously, when I seen the name at the top, Wes Craven, I knew straight away it was going to be a horror film. And like yourself, what really captured me, the plot, is for me an interesting plot, and I like the villain. He's like looks iconic now in the world of horror. The design and of the djinn himself looks great, and I just like the idea of basically you ask for a wish, you grant your wish, but he does it in the most cruelest way. He twists it, yeah. He twists
it's almost
it
like
round.
it's almost like he's begging you to be very specific about what you want, because if you're just a blatant request, it's like, oh, I like a cup of water, and then he'll find a way to fuck that up. You ever saw Bedazzled? Like, it's like that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it's at the third one where the actor, the British actor that plays the djinn in that, who's like the disguise form of the djinn, when the things are going wrong, and I'm sure he actually turns around and he says, well, you should be more specific with your wishes. It's like if you say, oh, I want $1 million, the next thing you know, a truck's going to come by with $1 million in and crush it.
Run your ass over.
So you get $1 million, but you die by the truck that's carrying the $1 million. It's like that kind of thing, which I found really, really a fun part, and how he twisted everything around.
You ask for a cup of water, it'll probably be water from Chernobyl.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, Mr. Tony of the Dead, what's your thought on the first Wishmaster?
I think the first Wishmaster, like, this is the first time I watched it in a little while too, and I think it still holds up. And I would consider this, how like Death House is like the Expendables of the horror thing. They say this. I think this movie is. I think this has so many people in it. I was looking it up, like on IMDb, and like we mentioned a bunch, like Kane Hodder, Tony Todd, this Andrew. I'll be honest, I don't really know him from anything else. I might have seen him in things, but like I
Mr.
don't
Kane
remember.
Hodder there looking
That's
the
Kane
best he's
Hodder.
ever looked.
Yeah, the best thing about him is his
Andrew
beard.
did a lot of villains that were like main role stuff. So like if Toy Soldiers, if you never checked it out, is a very good flick. And he plays like the
I
lead.
know Toy Soldiers, but I don't remember.
He's the lead terrorist. He's the lead terrorist of that movie.
Oh, I'll have to rewatch it.
Yeah,
because I think honestly, I don't like for Wishmaster he's the best one.
mm-hmm.
But when I love two, because I think the third and the fourth one totally lost the charm of this. But like when the Jinn is born again, it's like kind of like a little creature, and then the second one he's like a face on the wall and came out. I love that. That's crazy. And in the first one, the little one was Vern Troyer, or is that how you say his name? Vern Troyer.
Yes, yeah, Vernon, him who plays Mini-Me in Austin Powers. Yes,
I didn't know that was him. And there's where we got Ted Raimi, Danny Hicks was right next to him. We got Robert Englund, like I said, Tony Todd, Kane Hodder. Even the guy that did the crane operator, he was Rhodes from Day of the Dead.
Yep, Pilato.
Pilato.
Like a
Tom
lot of.
Savini was in the pharmacy.
Was he?
Yes. Yeah.
Tony Savini, he was the man in the pharmacy.
And George Buck
Angus
Flowers.
Scrim from Phantasm was also.
That I didn't know until this time.
The other Savini brother was on the docks.
It's full of like all horror icons. So to me, this is Death House. I think
so. Anthony Scrim was the narrator, was the voice narrator at the start, who tells the story of the
rest in peace
of the well, obviously Wes Craven. As soon as you hear his name, and he's going to call all his friends to give him a hand in these films.
I honestly thought that I had to look up the director. I thought it was going to say Sam Raimi for on like.
All right,
it does feel very.
Yeah, and also the music in it is it's kind of full moonish. It almost feels like a full moon movie with a higher budget. You know what I mean? But it plays in very well, like the mystery of it and everything, and the practical effects are great. That party in the beginning, is iconic. To me, the party in the beginning of that is like as iconic as the beginning of Ghost Ship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. And then that end party is fantastic. Like it's a good movie. I like it a lot. Like that, I think he's very scary. I think he looks great. And it's cool that he actually plays the Jinn as well as the human, because the other ones didn't. But
that's the thing with the other one. I noticed that you've said is that they have counter actors that play the role of the Jinn away from when you see the actor who's actually as the Jinn, which is kind of off-putting. I did find with the other films.
You lose mannerisms that way,
where you can tell, like for example, when you look at the Jinn there. And then when you see the human form, you can tell it's the same person.
Oh, yeah.
Where you've got some ginger, horrendous English actor in the third one who cannot act a note. And then you've got this actor that plays the other version of the Jinn, and you know very well it's not the same person. So
that's what he thinks about that.
Absolutely. So, Mr. DJ Anubis, your thoughts?
Yes. Yeah. So Andrew Divoff, we talk about this a lot with these iconic horror cameos that we saw in the film. But these are also guys like Tony Todd being Candyman, England, Freddy, Hodder is Voorhees. Although, Anthony and I kind of talk about different ones that he likes opposed to Hodder. But I know Hodder the most. But we obviously can tell, and I think we all kind of agree in this particular franchise, Divoff is the Jinn. Like, there's just nobody else that can do that role. He makes the character, and it's easy to tell because I think it was Anthony said his mannerisms and his charisma, the way he portrays the Jinn, both in human form and in the monster form, is almost like just iconic. Like, it's just, he just doesn't miss. The plot design is amazing. I love how it starts and I love how it ends. It's a great, the fact that the young woman has to figure out how to outwit the Jinn to get him back into the gem. So she just, I don't know. Are we doing spoilers? I mean, it's been out for quite a long time.
Do spoilers. It came out in 1997.
So yeah, she basically just has to end up telling him, like, well, I wish the guy that was driving the crane wasn't drunk, and then that really changes everything that followed with the crash and the death. So that's just like a perfect way to like bookend this movie, and I really like that. And of course, you already talked about the horror connection with everybody. So
the great thing about the ending as well, because how it ended, where she wished that the person who clearly was drinking on the job wasn't drinking that day.
Yeah.
Because it basically reverses all of the events that's transpired. It also did leave it open and had a very natural way for them to do a sequel with them
and the Jinn's look when he realizes that she fucked him over. Like, he's like, he thought he had it. He's like, what? Yeah. He's all pissed off. I think my favorite scene, though, really, I mean, aside from the hotter one, was the chick in the store, and like she's like, I want to be beautiful forever, and he turns her into a mannequin.
Yeah.
My favorite scene in the first one is where she goes, I want you to blow your head off, and he blows his head up, and you just see his head explode, and then he turns, he goes, I cannot die, or something. Then he goes, but that did hurt like hell.
That hurt like hell.
Yeah.
I like the little, like,
he has a good way to convey that voice. Like, it just sounds evil.
Yeah.
Like, he does a very good job with that.
I like the little, like, comical little things in there, like how'd you get in here? Guard opened up for me because he walked through them. I like those.
Yeah, he has like that subtle sarcasm that it's like he's not trying to be funny, but he is funny.
It's like you almost want to see this guy have a conversation with Freddy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Try to see who can handle who. Yeah, that'd be kind of funny. And it's funny when we talk about like the verses. So you had Freddy and Jason, and they were talking like Pinhead and Michael Myers at one time. I mean, why this guy doesn't enter the fray at some point, I don't know why, but this would be hilarious.
I think because you've got the G-Jinn, like the Jinn, we could have him versus Pinhead, because one's trapped in a box, one's trapped in a gem. It's like two worlds colliding. Like, if you know the law of the Jinn, like in this franchise, they're not actually in hell. They're like in between worlds, between heaven and hell. And then obviously with Pinhead, he's basically is like the king of hell. So it'll be interesting to see if the Wishmaster wanted to take over hell.
Oh, the only guy they missed in the fucking movie was Doug Bradley. They should have got him in there somewhere.
Another good combo would be Pinhead and the Tall Man.
Yeah.
Like, just to have Doug Bradley full character with Angus Scrim full character in like the conversations they would have.
Yeah.
Just listen to the lines of dialogue would be awesome. So we'll like the plot of this one. We'll like this one. Then we'll go to now Wishmaster 2, which is Evil Never Dies. So a little bit about this one. Wishmaster 2 Evil Never Dies is a 1999 direct-to-video dark fantasy horror film and a sequel to the 1997 film Wishmaster. The film premiered on television on March the 12th, 1999 and was released on DVD on August the 17th, 1999, bundled in with the first film. So the plot of this one is basically there's a robbery at the museum where obviously the statue that holds the Wishmaster is, is located, and the brother gets shot. The girl, Morgana, escapes, but in the ensue of it all, a god gets murdered, and and obviously the jewel that holds the gin in gets shot, and it awakens him, and then he's on a quest to go after her after this robbery that's gone wrong. So, Mr. Anthony Jordan, what's your take on Wishmaster 2?
Although I think it's a step down from the first one in many ways, I also think it did some things significantly better. Like, I think it has a more interesting main character that had a more engaging arc where she had to grow and straighten herself out to defeat evil, rather than the last one where that was a good actress too for the movie, but her main thing was, I just gotta protect my sister. Plus, I do like some of the changes to the lore where it's not just the 3 wishes, but he has to gain so many souls. So he lets himself get arrested and go to prison. This way, he's got an endless stream of people that want something, and it can go horribly wrong. My favorite one was the guy that wished to get smashed from the ground up. And then his 2 henchmen just start beating the life out of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The budget was, it was cheaper, but it was one of those films where you still see how they stretched it. It had also a good score, because I like the music was it almost had an old world feel to it. Like, the music for the Jinn, you can tell it just had the feel of this creature that's almost older than time itself.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, just a more not as good fun. It had, like I said, some interesting characters, and again, the prison setting to go back to, that was a great place to put this guy and just build up suspense, because
he was like in Candyland with that.
Like this is a vacation for me.
What is your wish?
I love that scene when he goes, "I'm gonna have your ass." He goes, "I was locked up for 2,000 years," and he was like, "This doesn't bother me at all."
That one prison guard was great.
Yes,
especially when he finally wished, like,
I want my fucking lord to have his head up his ass.
Oh yeah. No, he go fuck himself.
That's it. Yep.
That was another thing. You can tell, like, they approach some of the kills in a more comedic way in this film. Like, again, I kind of feel like the behind the scenes, the intention was more, let's have fun, and like Mr. Tony of the Dead said, like, it does kind of have that Sam Raimi feel, because some of the stuff you see in this, it would not be out of place in an Evil Dead film.
Yeah.
So overall, very good sequel, even if one of my negatives, like, I do feel like kind of how she defeated the Jinn, it was not as interesting as the original where she outsmarted him, because in this she just had to be purified, grab the stone, and speak the magic words, and he goes back in. But I would definitely watch it again, and like the first one, I would not only recommend it, but I would say if you got a free afternoon or an evening, these are on Tubi and Pluto TV and whatnot, so you don't have to buy the DVD or Blu-ray if you don't want to right away, but make it a double feature. Watch 1 and 2, and as for 3 or 4, you'll see in a few minutes.
Mr. Tony of the Dead.
Yeah, I remember liking this one. I think you know how like the late 90s, early 2000s, they were working on that CGI stuff. So like it's a little bit much with it. I think the worst thing in this movie though is the Russian guy. I think he's so annoying.
Yeah.
I can't stand him. Like I despise Pushkin. Like I can't stand you. Like
Pushkin.
yeah, Pushkin. And it's I don't know. But it is interesting though. Like I like because he's eternal. So they can make a million of these because he'll never die. But they always have these little different ways that you can each movie has a different way that you can take him out. Kind of like Freddy, like there's never one way. We could do it this way, or we could bury his bones. We could, whatever. But like this time, it was that, and she had to purify herself. Which, why? What does her hair and makeup and that have to do with anything? How is? I don't get how that would be purifying yourself if you like took your braids out of your hair. It just, I don't know. I just thought
it happens in here.
Huh?
Purification happens in here, not out here.
Right. Like it doesn't matter what she looks like as long as she, like, I don't know. The cutting the finger off was kind of like, even though I know it's fake, it's just like, oh, that's me going, oh God, but I think it is the weaker the one. In fact, the parts with her and the priest, like I are like some of the worst parts of the movie, I think. Like she's so mad about everything. She trashes her apartment like 5 times, and he's like having such a fun time in jail and that, and like I think he's like really fun. Like it's just funny to see like the Jin is sitting there biding his time playing chess. Oh, you get me?
Yeah, you can hear you.
I said, okay. I said it's funny how the Jin is sitting there biding his time by playing chess with somebody, and he could just like go out of there anytime. But like, yeah, I think my favorite wish in this one was probably the guy who wanted to walk through the bars, and it's just like, I was like, oh man, be careful what you wish for. Like, I don't know, I still like the movie, but it's definitely not as good as the first one. But I'm glad that he reprised the role for sure, because
definitely.
I think he was like even more diabolical and scary in this, because he's just like the whole time had that smile on his face.
Definitely.
I wish I could tangle with you, dance with you for 1 minute alone. It's like, oh my God.
Mr. DJ Anubis.
Yeah, so obviously,
I don't mean to cut you off. One thing I forgot. It says it's uncredited, but one of the guys that were robbing the museum with them was Corey Haim.
Yeah, I think that's because the lead girl was actually dating him at the time.
Really? I didn't know that until today. I was like, oh wow, that's cool. I didn't seen this so many times. I never knew that was Corey Haim.
Yeah, sometimes shit happens so fast you don't catch it, but
yeah. I'm sorry.
There was a couple other familiar faces in this. You had Bokeem Woodbine and Tommy Lister Jr. in there as well. I'm kind of like with Tony though. This movie is better than the next two we're gonna get to, but the plot to me was very convoluted. So the chick, I think if they would have just spent time with the Jin at the prison the entire movie, I probably would have been happy, because that was the funniest part of the movie. The greatest part was all the shit that happened. The one dude that was like a supposed badass, his 2 henchmen beat his ass. It's like, just if you would have had somebody making a wish from the prison, like the guy that releases the Jin from the prison, and somehow that brings the Jin there, that would be the entire movie for me. That'd be great. Like, I just really, really would dig that. I think I agree the Russian and that plot line kind of just do without that. The chick's not horrible, but like, again, she's kind of annoying to me in some way. So I guess that's why I kind of lean more towards the prison stuff. I don't know. Andrew is the guy that really carries this film more than he did in the first one. He didn't really have to carry it so much in the first one, but this one he really does. But you know, as Anthony said, I don't say to don't watch it. Like, I think you could watch this as a double feature. It's just not going to live up to that first film at all.
I will add what you said about the. When I said I'd like the character better in this one, I think they could have gotten a better actress.
Yeah, I think I was going to say that because I think that's where the drop off is. Like the plot's okay, but the actress isn't really able to carry that type of role. Like, I think she kind of failed in that aspect.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I'm probably on par with all of you. I do enjoy the second one.
I do want to add real quick. The director now, he did okay job with this, but I think I've liked some of his other films he did, like Alone in the Dark, Freddy's Revenge, and The Hidden. Those are like better films for me. So I just want to throw that out there too.
I agree with that too.
Yeah. I like some of his other films better than this. But what I was going to say is, for me personally with this, I think if you look at the first one, with obviously it's got connected with Wes Craven, it had more of a better budget. So they could put on, the kills were more creative, more visually stunning because of the practical effects. This had a smaller budget, but they did the best with what they had to work with. It still featured some really clever practical effects, especially that you see the scene where you go through the bars. That was just awesome. For me, another thing that I think's a negative compared to the first one, I felt like this felt like it dragged. I felt like the pacing for the second film was a lot slower than the first, where I felt like the first one, it had a great plot. You understood the characters, you knew what was going on, but it didn't stall anywhere. It kept going, and you would always get a scare, or there would be, they would add more to the story, and then it would get, like you say, to the final with the amazing final party. Where with this one, you was having great fun in the prison, but if you think about her side of the story and her side of the plot just dragged. It just it just seemed to drag with no real kind of conclusion for me till the very end, where she purifies herself.
And they could have cut out the trial sequence.
Yes, in the way this bit, and with the Djinn side of the story, the Jinn, his was all just fun. His was just fun. He brought the entertainment to the movie. And like you said, I think the first one was more like a pure horror movie, where this tried to make it have elements of horror comedy. But and obviously the horror comedy side did work, but it's the serious side of the plot with her plot just seemed to drag, and I think that really knocked the film. But Andrew Divoff carried this film, like Anubis said. But let's move on to the next installment. Are we ready for this? We're talking about Wishmaster 3, Beyond the Gate of Hell. I still feel like I actually went to hell and come back. I feel like this was my punishment, and I ended up there. So let's talk about Wishmaster 3, Beyond the Gate of Hell. So, little tidbits about the movie. So, Wishmaster 3, Beyond the Gate of Hell, known here in the UK, is Wishmaster 3, Devil's Stone, and is a 2001 American fantasy horror film directed by Chris Angel and starring Jason Connolly and A.J. Cook. It is the third installment of the Wishmaster series, although John Novick replaces Andrew Divoff and as the Jinn. In the movie, it was the second direct-to-video sequel in the franchise and was filmed in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. And the plot of this one is fairly simple. You've got a young girl who lost her parents, and she basically awakens the Djinn, and he's basically torturing her and torturing all her college friends. And he's obviously the same kind of plot as the second one, where he needs to collect some souls, and he obviously wants her to cast her 3 wishes, and so forth, so forth. So the cast, like I say, is Jason Connery as Professor Joe Barish, John Novick as the Djinn, AJ Cook as Diana Collins. You've got Tobias Mayer as Greg Jansen, and also the Saint Michael the Archangel. And the rest of the cast is Louisa
Tony's shaking his head already.
York, Aaron Smolitsky as Billy Matthews, Emilio Vega as Eleanor Smith, Sarah Carter as Melissa Bell, Danielle, I can't even say her fucking surname, but it doesn't really matter, as Annie, and Jennifer Pudovic as Josie Rodriguez. So I'm going to let Tony start, so he's so enthusiastic about this film.
Well, this was the first time I've ever seen this movie, and you're probably not going to be surprised by this, but it's going to be the last time I'm going to watch it. I think the stunts in this were good. The car crashes were very impressive, and I think that's where the money went.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Djinn looked okay, but in fact, I think he looked fine in the fourth one as well. I think the outfits for them were fine. I also like that they kind of made it where it's like, okay, we got lucky we got the same Djinn twice. I don't take it that this is the same one because there's many others. Because in this one now they finally say we're all trapped in here. Well, in the first one, and I don't remember in the second one, but he's in his little thing, and he has the people chained up. This one, they're all there, so I like that that's how they're way okay, this is why he's not the same guy, you know. But and no offense, Kevin, but this Djinn actually didn't have a soul. He needed the souls because he was a redhead. I'm only busting you. No, but I don't like him. I know he tried being the professor guy tried being cocky and whatever, but I just didn't like him. I didn't like the character. I didn't I didn't mind the Djinn, but I don't want to see Saint Michael fighting the professor.
That's god awful.
So fight the Djinn. I know he did, but for the most of the time he's fighting the professor. Change your form.
Well, they spent all their money on the car crashes.
That's what I said, yeah. And they were good car crashes. They were very powerful.
And obviously, like you say, the amount of money they must have cost to get the aesthetics of the Djinn.
Yeah.
And that costuming. Yeah. You know, it's in the hours they've got to be in the chair to get the makeup and that on.
Mm-hmm.
But still, if you're going to do a film within a horror franchise, then you've still got to show the damn fucking creature that the film's about.
Right. I will say, though, I didn't mind the cast that much. I thought the guy that was that got the horns through him was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he
the dude that said below me.
Yeah, yeah. I like him with him and his girlfriend. I liked how they were together. It was funny. And being that I grew up, around their ages then, what the age they were supposed to be. It brings back a lot of memories, the music or the clothes and stuff. And the lead actress was gorgeous. I mean, all the lead actresses were good looking, I think. But
they're beautiful, but yeah,
and I don't know. It's just this one fell flat.
The one thing I'll give this one though, in this one, in the one after it, you get a lot of more boob action.
Yeah,
That,
true.
you know, that the first two didn't feature much skin, where these two, there's a lot of skin, a lot of boob action.
Yeah.
So
This was the one, wasn't it? Was this the one with the stripper?
that's the fourth one.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Well, I gotta
So
save my
bad, I don't
comment.
remember. I can agree with that.
But yeah, I mean, this one was pretty bad, to be honest. But like I said, I to say anything positive, the car crashes were good. Her storyline with the parents, she felt guilty for the car blew up because she had a little hissy fit, and the father didn't see this big wreck in the road like while he was driving way ahead of time for some reason. But yeah, it was pretty powerful, especially when she crashed later on too with Saint Michael. Which, okay, she burns her arm, he heals it. Why can't he heal his chest? I don't
Poorly defined rules.
right. I think when
So
they
wasn't it something with the sword though? There was like some sort of blade or something they were using.
well, she had to be willing to sacrifice herself, and I guess she couldn't. You know, it's like you can't lift Thor's hammer if you're not worthy. You know,
Yes.
Right.
and that's what happened there. But like,
Well, that goes back to the second one, with then she does the enchantment after she's purified herself.
right?
She can't get rid of the djinn until she's purified, which she did, and then she took the amulet out of his hand, and then she did the enchantment, and then she trapped the djinn back in the amulet. So
Yeah.
it does kind of make sense. That I guess that bit of the story does follow the law of the previous films.
Yeah. But yeah, I well, long story short, I won't be watching it again.
Do you have it on Blu-ray?
Yeah, I have the collection, so I like the other ones.
Mhm.
So
Mr. Anthony Jordan.
Good time to cut this one to ribbons. I hated this movie. I was bored the whole time watching it. The guy they got playing the djinn is a human sleeping pill. He was boring as the human character. Then when he became the djinn, it was like he somehow became even more boring. I didn't care less about the lead character. The actress didn't portray her well. Personally, this was one where I was kind of rooting for the djinn, and I'm like, destroy all these boring people. The costume, I will admit, looked great, although we saw him, only 2 times. And the djinn kind of seemed more, the rules in this seemed weird, like it's almost like, in this one, he can do harm to people without them making a wish, which previously that wasn't part of it. Each film is almost in its own universe when you look at how they all have a different take on the rules, and like this one had 4 poorly defined rules, like Tony.
Yeah, the cleverness went away in this one. Like with the wishes, it's a lot more cleverly done. This one, it just threw it out the window.
It's
well,
like,
just remember though what he said in the first one. I don't mean to cut you off, but he said, I don't have to kill you. I could just make you wish you were dead. So he can like get her in trouble, but she's gonna want to wish to be dead.
yeah, like I said, the like poorly defined rules, like how he healed her arm, but he couldn't heal himself.
Yeah.
How hard would it be to have a 2-second line to say, I can heal others miraculously, but I cannot do the same to myself?
Right.
Like, you would solve that problem. And the biggest crime is the fight that it's human form. You don't at least have an interesting creature to look at. You have him fighting this human sleeping pill that just clearly doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, I don't know who hired this actor, but I hope you got fired for just this again, I can't say how. If you've seen this movie, you know, but if not, we are not exaggerating on how bad, how bland, and boring this is. And even like the ending, like I do kind of like what they went for, but I think they should have went all the way for it, where she had to be willing to sacrifice herself, and she did sacrifice herself.
Yeah.
But
Do you want to know the sad thing about the actor that you're talking about?
yeah,
Uh-oh.
He's the son of Sean Connery.
You gotta be kidding me.
you
Nope.
go.
Jason Joseph Connery. He is an Italian-born British actor and director. He is the son of Sean Connery and Diane Clinton.
Okay.
And he learned nothing from his dad. Is that what we're hearing?
I hereby,
The human form was Sean Connery's son. Oh,
yeah, I guess. Yeah.
okay, I hereby take back every bad thing I said about Scott Eastwood not getting any of his father's talent.
Oh my
At
God.
least he has some degree of charisma. Like, you were to compare father to son, this guy makes Scott Eastwood look just like his dad.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So
I hear what you mean.
from 007 to 00 shit.
Just 2 goose eggs.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So what's your take on this film, DJ Anubis?
This movie is so god awful that I don't have enough awful for the next film. Unlike the decent Pumpkinhead sequels, these ones will not match up. Also, this is like the storyline. The characters are not memorable, but it's like a storyline taken from a wannabe Supernatural episode. Like, it's just that bad. Because you got the archangel and the demon, and like it's just it's just horrible, man. Like, even when I want to try to like have a redeeming moment when the chick says she wants a place to hide and he sticks her head in a rat cage, like it's still not even that creative. Like, it's like, dude, where's my boy Divoff, man? Come on, give me something. You know, it's just, as Anthony pointed out, and Tony, it's like, it's so lackluster. It's like the energy is not there. Nobody wants to do this film, and I understand why. It's a poorly written script. It's very uninteresting. If the money was put in those car crashes, that's not going to do it for me. Like, it was such a struggle to get through this, and it doesn't get any better. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
And that lead actor guy, he was in Disturbing Behavior.
Which one?
The guy who was Saint Michael.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was in Disturbing. He's the one who was.
Well, that's at least a decent movie, you know.
He was getting the blowjob in the beginning. And he like broke her neck.
Okay.
Slut, that guy.
Yeah.
And then he played this, and then he's in this. I was like, I know, okay, I never recognize him. And then it's like, it's a few years later. You know, it's like,
How to Destroy Your Career.
You mentioned it's like a Supernatural episode. It's almost like the djinn wandered onto the set of a daytime soap opera.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it feels like, yeah. Well, my opinion is this is out of the 2 low budget straight to video sequels of this franchise. This is the lowest of them. And I was totally shocked when I was looking and I read that the guy who's like the human form of the DJ and the actor is Sean Connery's son. I was like, my God, that is so disappointing. Even the boobage in this didn't save the film.
no.
The car crashes is the best part of the film. The plot is just the plot. I don't mind the plot. The plot's okay, but it's just everything so inconsistent. It doesn't carry its weight the way the first 2 did. And you can tell it's low budget and it's straight to DVD or straight for television. I know you're saying it's like a Supernatural episode. I think that's an insult to Supernatural.
Oh, it is. It is.
Like, I think this is more like, I don't know.
But if you ever seen Supernatural, like, the problem is, like, I enjoy the characters, the main actors, but the storyline, like it's amazing that, and I know we're going off on a tangent, but the fact that Supernatural went for 22 seasons is amazing.
Yeah.
But it kind of just goes in circles. Like, you know, they go to hell, they come back, they go to hell, they come back.
Yeah.
And so, like, I kind of got tired after about 8 seasons. Like, okay, I've seen everything I need to see.
I'm kind of the same way. I stopped after, I can't tell you what season. I binge watched it. And then, like you said, going to hell, coming back, going to hell. He's in hell. We're going to go back and get him. Let's go to the purgatory and get this one. It's like, bring back the mythical creatures and the spirits and stuff. You know, none of this heaven and hell shit. Let's get to how we started, because it was a great show.
Yeah, I remember Supernatural. I think I've only seen the first few series, maybe
seasons. Yeah,
maybe the 4th or 5th. I think I dropped off once, like you say, they started. Probably the second time they came back from hell. But I think this is more like a badly unaired episode if Charmed, not Supernatural. It felt more like
same sort of like plot design.
Yeah, it felt more like an episode of Charmed.
I'm always thinking of, I can't remember his name, but the angel that fights with the brothers, the Winchesters, is in Supernatural. I forget who they call him, but you know, he's been the guy that kind of helps them fight along the demons and stuff. It was kind of going for that feeling I kind of felt through this.
But I'm like Tony, like I loved how when Supernatural started, for me it was like a replacement of Buffy, where Buffy would fight demons and vampires and all of that in each episode. Yes, you would have a plot that would end the series, but then it would like you would have your standalone episodes, and that's what I missed about Supernatural, how you had these standalone episodes where they would go to like a town or go into a house, and there would be a demon or some sort of creature that they'd have to battle.
And isn't it funny that like Padalecki ended up doing a reboot of Friday the 13th, and then Eccles did like My Bloody Valentine?
You bring up the show in like how these go on for too long, and it's basically the same thing. I've been saying for years, our shows need to take a note from British TV shows and how at the longest they're still less than half the average American TV show season.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because I think for a while it was like 7 seasons, like the max, and like even in Buffy, which I really enjoyed, I think that last season just kind of felt rushed towards the end, and it wasn't really worth it at the end. I know some people feel that about the Game of Thrones stuff, but sometimes, man, like if you like, at least with Stranger Things, I think they know their last one's coming up, they're done. And maybe with Cobra Kai is the same thing. So if that's the case, then great. Don't ruin it by trying to force feed it if it's not there. Like if it's not going to be well written, don't do it.
That's kind of how like the last episode or 2 of like American Horror Story kind of is. They jam everything.
See, I think I used to love American Horror Story, and I think the last one I watched was the one that they done just after the pandemic, which felt rushed. Which, for me, how I look at the last one that I watched, which was called Double Feature, which I think they were writing a series, which the first part of it was about vampires. Then the second part was about
Lady Gaga.
No, that's another one.
Oh, okay.
That was Hotel.
Yeah, Hotel.
Yeah.
Double.
Well, we watched the last one, Neko and I. We were enjoying it until about the last couple episodes. It got really bad at that point, but
is that the one called Delicate with Kim Kardashian?
Yeah.
I haven't. See, I've never. I think, like I say, didn't even.
I think out of that series, the only ones I really dug was Asylum, Coven, and Freak Show. I think those were really the ones that I liked.
First season was good though too.
1985.
I did like the 80s one was good. I did like that one.
But anyway, let's get back on track.
We had to talk about something positive.
We're more excited about the other shit than we are this.
So here we go. We are talking about Beauty and the Beast 4. I mean, the Wishmaster, the prophecy fulfilled. Which the plot of this is there's a married couple that get involved in an accident. The husband becomes paralytic, and they've got a lawsuit. And then somehow the lawyers fell in love with the wife, and all you know is he has miraculously this box with a gift in, which contains the gem that contains the G-Gin, who she manages to release, and the same plot synopsis basically, where he's trying to trick people, one's souls, and he's trying to make her 3 wishes, but the difference is he then develops feelings for her, and he falls in love with her, and he's kind of withholding the final wish from being cast to release his brothers, because they'll probably beat the fuck out of him for being so stupid. But that's your basic plot. It's a love story with a fucking crazy evil genie.
Is it really?
It's a one-sided love story.
Dude, I got so much to say on this one.
So before we crack on, here's just a little bit more. Wishmaster, the Prophecy Fulfilled, 2002 Canadian dark fantasy horror film directed by Chris Angel, who destroyed the 3rd one as well.
Yeah.
Let's invite him back.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, I reckon what happened is they got one big pot of money and they had enough to make 2 crappy films, and that's what they did.
Pumpkinhead 3 and 4 situation.
Mm-hmm. And
it's still done better than this.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Starring Michael Trujillo, Tora, Spencer Nan, Jason Thompson, Victor Webster, Kimberly Hugh, and John Novick is back as the Djinn. So I'm going to leave Anubis to last because he says he's got a lot to say. We'll go back to
you really start with me.
Well, if you want to start, you can start if you're ready to explode.
Yeah, the thing here is, again, you get the same director who just bombed on the one before that. So I don't know who was thinking this is going to get better at this point. Then you brought the same dude to play the Djinn back. That's also, a snooze fest. I hate the story. It's stupid as fuck. Having the Djinn fall in love with anybody is dumb as fuck. Then on top of that, like, even though each character is not very likable, the one that probably should have survived the end was the Sam, the guy, the one that was in the wheelchair. He's probably the only one that should have survived, because that chick's not got no redeeming qualities. She wants to fuck around all the time. And, like, I don't know, man. Like, this whole thing stunk. And I just don't have enough hate for it, because, like, I used it all in 3, but I'd piss on this if I could.
This makes Pumpkinhead 4 look like an Oscar-winning movie.
Oh, fuck yeah, it does, dude. You can rip that shit all day long, but it's better than this.
Oh, by the way, Pumpkinhead 2 is available to buy now on 88 Films.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Nice slipcover, too?
I don't know, but I know the Scream Factory one is very pricey.
Yeah.
So,
do you remember what the one for 88 Films was? Price-wise?
Cheap. It was pretty cheap, like a normal Blu-ray. Probably because there's no slipcover. But
well, I mean,
I got a guy for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You dick.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Tony of the Dead, what's your take on Wishmaster 4?
Well, I can say I think the guy who played the human form was definitely way better than the guy in 3. I think he kind of had that. How do you say his name? Divoff. Had like a kind of like his charm in a way, maybe a little more charismatic, but like you could see he was like trying to do the smile and be a little devious and stuff. So I kind of liked him. I like some of it. I like where the lawyer on the phone and he's like, she's thinking, am I back?
Yeah.
You're back.
Yes,
You're
yes.
back.
Okay. I was gonna say I like where he was on the phone with the lawyer and she thinks he's talking like lawyer stuff, and here he's actually cutting his tongue off and doing all this stuff. I kind of like that stuff. Some of it, but the most missed opportunity, which could have been the best part of the movie, is where that guy wished to be a pimple on her ass, and they didn't show it. That would have been so funny. And then if she saw it and popped it or something, like that was such a missed opportunity. That could have brought that could have made this better than 3. But it actually, to me, it is better than 3. But it could have been way better. I kind of thought it was clever, but it is too Beauty and the Beast. I think it was. I think they ran out of ideas. Like, well, how are we supposed to do this? And like, let's make a Beauty and the Beast, and and then she says that, and it's like the prophecy fulfilled. I thought, okay, finally, we're gonna have the prophecy fulfilled. Everything's gonna go to shit, and now we have to. Now some team is gonna come back out, and it didn't happen. I also think these movies have a missed opportunity. Like every one of them has a survivor, except for the third one, has a survivor girl. And I think they should have brought them back somehow. Like what's her name was Hellraiser 1 and 2. They should have brought like the girl from the first one back to this or something. Like none of them like ever like this happened to me. Let me help you kind of thing. I think.
Oh, like Final Destiny. Yeah.
Yeah, like Final Destination or something like that. I think they should have did something like that. I think the Jinn was a lot more active in this one, but he was still, it's. I think we just want Andrew. We don't want this guy.
That's what I'm saying. Andrew just happened to nail the part. Like he just has that mannerism and subtle sarcasm that you like out of the character. Like these guys don't really carry that.
Yeah.
Well, it's like once you get an actor, isn't it, who portrays a certain character and has like that charisma, and he puts his all into it. He becomes the character. He is the character. You can't picture anyone else doing it. Like you said, Robert Englund.
Well, I mean, I think of like this. So Tony Todd did a couple films in the franchise of Candyman, but trying to fill that role, like they did the reboot thing, but that really wasn't a direct contact with the original. But you did see a little bit of Tony Todd at the end. But the reality is like trying to get someone to do that role now. I'm sure they'll do it at some point, but it's just not the same, man. Like some of these actors just own those roles. That's what I call it, owning the role, like where no one else can take it from you. And I think Anthony's going to do his review on the new Nightmare on Elm Street. He had some good things to say about Haley's job in it, but it's like for me, I can't see it. I just can't see Freddy there.
Yeah, it's like like that's what I'm seeing. Like Robert Englund, he is Freddy Krueger, and David, and that's the same with the one who did the Jinn in the first 2 films. That's all we want. We want him back.
I think if they would have had the guy that was the human form in this play the Jinn, I think it would have been better.
Yeah.
As well, because I think he could have pulled it off. Not as good as Andrew, but I think it would have been like a way better movie if he actually played the Jinn as well. Because then it would have been a little harder for her, I think, to resist him because she does like him. It's like, it's me. It's the same guy. It's just I'm a monster. But I don't know. I do like too. Instead of like one other thing that they did differently is like you could. I mean, it was really cheesy and CGI, but like you could see the creatures instead of just them trying to push through the void. I think it looked better.
Yes,
I'm trying to do some positive for this one too. It's tough for the last 2 movies, but yeah, I probably wouldn't watch this one again. But if I had to choose between 3 and 4, I'd watch this one. I think.
Mr. Anthony Jordan.
First of all, I'll put it over the third one because at least when the angel fights the djinn in this one, we actually see the djinn. That being said, I think the movie did have an interesting premise that they just totally failed the execution. I don't know who decided to bring back the previous director, but 10 years federal penitentiary bare minimum for that decision.
Mhm.
And like I do, even though I halfway agree with Anubis that having the djinn fall in love is stupid, there's also something interesting I find in that idea, but go all the way with it. Like, you can expand the rules, like, he has to grant these wishes. What happens if he doesn't grant the wishes? There's a paradox where it's a wish she has to fulfill because she has to love him for him.
Well,
But
the script
what if-
needs to be stronger, but you do have kind of a point. So if the djinn would have had like a redeeming moment or a redeeming arc,
Yeah,
and
like,
he doesn't end up still being the djinn in the end, like he just wipes out his own clan of djinns or whatever and becomes human again, he actually falls in love with the chick, that makes sense.
yeah.
But then you're still kind of dealing with the other lover and all this other shit. But if it's something along that lines, it probably would have been a lot better than it was.
Yeah, like
But they were kind of right in that line.
I
What
think
I
she
would've-
should have became his queen and then became a djinn herself.
that could have been interesting.
Still
Yeah,
more
well,
interesting than what they did.
But what I was thinking, like, they can explore the mythology. Like, what happens if the djinn chooses not to grant a wish? It's in the movies, it's always clear he cannot break these rules. So, what are the consequences? What if, in order to make her fall in love with him, he knows he has to be better, so he chooses not to grant these wishes because it'll always end horribly for these people. And every time he breaks one of the rules, his power diminishes. So by the end, he's in a state where he can be killed. There are so many, even her becoming the djinn and becoming his queen, there are so many interesting ways you could have told this story, but it was just a bland, uninteresting love story where the one redeemable character just constantly gets screwed over. Like, that was another thing that could have made it better if by the end he was the only one left standing.
Yeah.
But it's a bad movie. If you threatened me and I had to watch 3 or 4, I would choose 4. I plan on getting the Blu-ray with the 4 of them, but only 1 and 2 are ever going to see the inside of my Blu-ray player. The other 2, I have no intention of revisiting. At least this one, another redeeming. It is fun to brainstorm about because it is an interesting concept. How many different ways you could have taken the story if they actually sat down and did more than what was probably one draft.
Yeah. Well, for me, I'm a bit like Anthony. If I had to watch 3 or 4, I would pick choose the fourth one to watch. The story, I just thought, it was a very soft story. It could have been a lot darker. And I thought at the beginning it was, because obviously when you got to the first film, it showed you a narrator and he told you the myth and the lore of the djinn. They did the same at the beginning of this one. So,
And she read it in the second one.
yes.
And I think it's in every movie, to be honest.
But I don't think they had the person speaking, like the scroll.
Oh, no.
On the screen with the writing. The show. So when I first saw that, I thought, oh, this one's gonna redeem the third one and be a decent movie. But then as a plot progressed, and it turned out to be just this stupid, like really bad, like romantic horror film. It was just not for me at all. Like, I would have preferred if he was mentally torturing her and he was lusting over her, but like in like a sexual predator way, not like I've actually fell in love with her. And he's doing that and playing these mind games and make her deliberately do the third wish, the free.
Yeah, like
The
seducing her in some way.
Yeah, but he doesn't generally love her. He's doing it because he's trying to fulfill his mission to free the other djinn. And then when it all comes out, she's fucking pissed. She's like, I can't believe, this thing's happening to me. And she wants revenge. And she couldn't have turned out like a Karen, a crazy woman who's goes crazy and she's trying to find a way to kill the djinn. And then that poor sap, our husband Sam, I think it would have been better if how he's got the sword stuck in him. I believe it should have been the other way around, where he had the sword and stabbed her and him at the same time.
Yeah.
I thought that might have happened. Honestly, I thought that was going to happen.
I think she should have, and even if they went down with the most redeeming quality of her and this film, if she knows, I've cast this wish, and if he, and if I don't say I love this dude, he's going to release this djinn onto this army of the other djinn onto the world. And then the only thing is for her to die as well. So the best thing is for her to die and sacrifice her and take a hit with the sword through her and into him. And then they both could have got sucked up and flew into the gem. And it would have been a great thing right at the end where he's sitting there in his chair all pissed and furious that he's trapped in this gem. And it turns to the camera and she's chained up being tortured. Because she's stuck inside the gem with him. I think something like that would have been better. So he kind of gets his wish. He's got the woman he loves, but instead of loving her, he's torturing her. So he's still got that evil quality about him. But they just turned the djinn into a sappy Care Bear character, which is not was like a total
Care Bear.
total 150 of who we saw from the first djinn in the first Wishmaster, from this really diabolical, evil bastard. Like, how can you go from being looking like this, a total badass, to this fucking Care Bear thing? That running around wanting a woman to fall in love with her when you're basically going to release hell onto the world.
Well, that was the one from the second one, though, that you just showed.
That's from is that not from the third one?
No, that's from the second one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it must have been that shit. I mustn't have got a picture of the other djinn.
That's our buddy Andrew.
That's our buddy. That's our buddy Andrew, yeah. Well, that's probably because it was that crap I didn't bother getting a picture of the other one.
It's all right.
There, look, I'm as blind as this fucker.
I wonder what that guy's doing nowadays. He was like pretty popular in the 90s. Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of dig the shoulders and stuff. Like the look ain't bad, but like, I don't know.
You can tell the people designing the creature were actually wanting to make something that looked good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I do think the budgets went on the costuming and, like you said, the odd stunt scene. And I guess what you mentioned before as well, Anthony, how you mentioned one of the most endearing qualities of the fourth one is the third one. It was just, Sean Connery's son. I can't believe I've said that out loud. In that amazing performance, fighting the angel. At least in the fourth one, you actually seen him in, costume, djinn mode, fighting people. Like, he fought the security guard outside of the strip joint. He then fought, obviously, the angel again, but he was in costume. But overall, it's a terrible film, and like you, my eyes will never view this film again. I would rather watch reruns of every Pumpkinhead film, one after the other, because that is what I feel of these films. So
Pumpkinhead 3 on a 24-hour loop.
Yep, that's even better than this. So least with the Pumpkinhead films, if you look at the budget, that's the difference. They had the budget that they had. Even in the third one, there's that scene like it's 90s CGI where you see Pumpkinhead climbing on top of the church, up the side of the church.
Oh yeah.
That did have some great scenes, and like you said, Doug Bradley was the one that saved that film with his performance as being like the main antagonist. Where if you look at and like you were more for the antagonists than the heroes, where if you look at 3 and 4 of these films, the Wishmaster films, you're not actually cheering for anybody. You don't want anyone to win.
Yep.
You want them all to die, basically. Except Sam probably is the only one in the fourth one you want to survive. Like even
not me.
even the freaking woman who wanted to die by orgasm. That was that was annoying.
I think she was the best. Well, she was good looking. I thought, but
that was the best one actually.
Yeah, I thought.
Well, I like the annoying little ginger woman in the store who got her head cut off.
Oh yeah. Well, that's another thing. Okay, like you got Saint Michael in the third one, and then you got the what do they call him? The Waker, or something.
The Wanker.
The Wanker, yeah, pretty much. Like he was pointless, absolutely pointless in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And the actor was kind of doing a discount Terminator impression.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like I would say discount Highlander.
Very
he's
true.
Off heads and stuff. He's running around with a sword. Oh. God.
So are we going to rate these? Are we going to rank these? Mine's simple: 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes.
Oh, mine's actually 1, 2, 4, 3.
1, 2, 4, 3.
Yeah, you're probably right. 1, 2, 4, 3.
Let's face it, one's really the only one that matters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and I don't know if there's any talks of rebooting this or if there's a new one coming out. Because I think if they did reboot it, I think they would have to bring the original. They would have to bring Andrew Divoff back.
They could.
Just not give it to Blumhouse.
Yes, he's pushing. He's 69 now, so if they were ever to do a reboot or at least another one, just even another direct video one, and I think it should be a direct sequel to the first one, and they should bring the original Wishmaster actor back.
I don't know is he still alive? I'm not sure.
Yeah, he is. He's 69. He's
okay.
16. He's 69.
Does he look 69 or does he?
Yeah, that's the other thing too.
Does he still look pretty good? I mean, he doesn't really need to do much, really. I mean,
well, that wasn't that. Oh, I don't know that. He looks really good, I think, for his age.
Okay, he still got the look. He can do it.
He was still at that photo I'm looking at was at Nightmare Weekend in Richmond in 2023. So last year that photo was taken.
Just to have that voice again.
Yep.
Yeah, he does voice work as well as physical acting, so I could imagine them just bringing him back to do the voice.
Yeah.
Even that would be a bonus. He does a lot of voice work in video games. So he's worked on Command and Conquer Red Alert 3, Lost, Viva Dormis, Call of Duty Black Ops, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, and Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. And so he's done voice work on video games. He worked on a television show in 2020 called Primitive. And the last movie he worked on it's called Camp Pleasant Lake, and he's playing a character called the Evil Man. Which actually, if you look it up and look at the movie poster, it looks really interesting. So just a little tidbit on Camp Pleasant Lake. It's fucking hell, it's a mouthful.
She said.
Camp Pleasant Lake is a 2024 American slasher film that takes place in a camp around a 20-year-old mystery regarding a missing girl. The plot synopsis: some attendees at Camp Pleasant Lake get a surprise from their past when campers and camp counselors become victims of a twisted serial killer.
I've never heard that storyline before.
No, at a camp, that's never been done.
In the
I'm
cast,
gonna have to watch it.
so the cast consists of Jonathan Lipsnitsky as Jasper Meadows, Bonnie Aarons as Esmeralda, Andrew Divoff. He's playing the evil man. Mike Ferguson as Lucifer. Amber Oliver as Sheena.
So the evil man's not the most evil one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Michael Parr as Rick Ruthard.
He's a buffer.
And Robert Lazaro is Angel.
I don't know why, but the whole evil man and the devil's in it too, it kind of puts me in mind of the Dark Tower and how Randall Flagg is just really a servant of the Crimson King.
You have a picture. You have a picture of the girl from the first one where with her eyes, where she's screaming at Robert Englund. She looks like
no. I've just got
her eyes come out so much. It's like she's on Mars in Total Recall.
Yes, I remember that.
Holy shit! I ever since I was younger, I was
picture the girl from the second one.
Yeah,
I'm just throwing shit up. I'm feeling youthful.
I think the girl from the third one, I thought she was really hot, though. I mean, they were all good looking, but I think the girl from the fourth one, she was pretty annoying, I thought.
I don't know, man. Just give me all the girls from Jason X, and I'll be happy.
Even having all them boobs in the fourth one didn't save it.
No. Yeah, and the beginning. Did anybody else think that sex scene was like a long sex scene?
Probably.
I thought, okay.
Probably the most interesting thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just watch a little more of this because this movie sucks. Yes. Okay.
We're gonna just.
That's another thing. That's another thing about the storyline. The storyline was basically about people can't have sex because one he's paraplegic now and she's horny as fuck. That's all. That's basically what the plot was, and then it made the Jinn horny.
Well, when she kissed him on the cheek because of whatever he did for her, and he was like,
lawyer, right?
He was like, oh, like that. I thought, oh, I kind of knew he was gonna fall for her. I kind of knew it. But I get, okay, you got into an accident, you're miserable, but like he's such a dick to her the whole movie, like, and the Jinn.
But he has a reason to be though. Like he's just not doing well mentally.
Yeah, I know, I get that, but like he's also pushing her away, and she's not going anywhere.
But you need to think, though.
Fuck, she ain't. She is. She was thinking about sex all over the place.
Well,
she was moving on.
The Jinn had a little bit to do with that. I mean, he wrote that note and everything. That's the only reason she probably screwed him, because she thought, the hell, he left me. I'm going to go with him now. And he almost had her. And then Sam came in the room, and we could have had the queen and that, and who knows what else.
Who knows? But
when I saw that it's prophecy fulfilled, I thought, are they really going to?
Yes, the title's misleading, 100%.
Yeah.
But this has been fun as always. I don't know what I'm going to do for the next one in August. I might put an audience poll up, or if you guys can think of a franchise you would like to talk about.
Warlock.
Warlock?
Oh, yeah, Warlock.
Actually, I'd dig to do the Hell House. That's one I didn't really consider, but that is an amazing series.
Hell House
another one
film
coming out in
series?
2025.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So we'll
I
have
would
to
do
have a good think. But Warlock's a good shout out, but we'll have to wait and see. I know that Anubis would like to do Nightmare on the Street and Hellraiser at some point. With
When are we going to do Predator?
Predator.
What, the
Well,
franchise or just a movie?
Franchise.
Oh, I
Well,
don't know.
well, we did. Well, I say I don't class that as a horror franchise. I class that as like a sci-fi franchise.
I count it as sci-fi horror.
Mm.
It's got some
Science,
horror elements, but it's more action and sci-fi.
action, science fiction with light horror elements.
All right,
Yeah.
just say no.
No, damn it, no!
Who knows? I might surprise you one day. But is there anything coming on your channel, DJ Anubis? Coming up soon?
Tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, I'll be on Century's channel to review The Crow again, 1994. Tomorrow, I'll be on your channel at 6 p.m. Eastern to do Demolition Man. Finally getting around to that one. Next week, I'm going to try to get together with you to do the Cinematic Synergy to do Dark Harvest. And I'll actually be getting together with Big Bad Wolf on Thursday to review the Boys season, the recent season for the Boys. So
I just finished that last night.
I got one more episode to go. One more to go.
Yeah, me too. I've got one episode left to go.
Nice.
Anthony Jordan, anything coming on your channel?
Well, like Anubis, tonight I'll be on Sci-Fi Century discussing The Crow again. And
you follow me around, man? You follow me around?
Kinda. You know, pretty much getting ready to gear up for Montober, which of course is in October, but I like to review it, do get at least most of the reviews out of the way in like late July through August. This way, when October comes around, I just upload them according to schedules, as well as I'm going to try and get my Son of Godzilla review out by the end of the month.
Oh, cool. What about you, Mr. Tony the Dead?
Nothing.
Just hanging out with us?
Yeah, I mean, this is all I do. Like, I'm like 50-50. I want to record something, and then I'm like, it's such a pain in the ass. And like I said, I have Severin coming in, Umbrella. I went kind of a little crazy.
Dude, the next time you do, like when you get that stuff in, you're doing your unboxings, I want to join you just to see what you get and chit chat.
All right.
If you're okay with that.
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah.
Just let me know.
Like live or recording?
Whatever way you want to do it. I mean, do you do it live usually, or you just do a recording?
I've done it live before.
I mean, you got a pretty good audience usually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes.
It'd be nice to see.
Yeah.
As for me in the entertainment headquarters, we have a few things coming up. I know tomorrow night I'm going to be doing the Retro Classic Movie Show with my co-host there, Mr. DJ Anubis, and we're going to be reviewing Demolition Man with Mr. Sci-Fi Century and Mr. Jedi Granville, aka Walter Ross. Looking forward to that. I'm hoping soon, because I put it on the back burner because, you know, life happens. I want to do me Beverly Hills Cop Axel F review. I'm also going to be just doing a very quick little mini review of a film that I watched a couple of nights ago called The After Dark, which it has a bit of a cameo from our friend, that fat samurai guy, Preston Downey, is in it. So I messaged him, said I had watched it, and he said, "Oh, cool, man." He goes, "Are you going to review it?" And I said, "I'll have a go. I'll if I get some time,
I haven't
I'll
decided
review
yet if I'm going to do one for you yet.
So,
but he and I are supposed to get together, I think, to do a review for Dr. Giggles. I just don't know when. So.
I love Dr. Giggles. I love that movie. I wish they did a sequel.
Didn't they?
No.
I thought they did. Oh,
no.
Larry Gregg was great. He was great in that. And he was great in Dark Knight of the Scarecrow. Those are two great movies, but never did a sequel to it, which I'm okay with, actually. It's a very good standalone film.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking of The Dentist.
Yeah, that one has sequels.
Yeah. But also coming up on the channel, I will be doing a new segment that I've created called Episodic Adventures. So Episodic Adventures is my segment on the channel where I'm going to be talking about television, because I do more film reviews, segments like this in trailer reaction. I want to bring some more television content to the channel. So I'm bringing a new segment called Episodic Adventures, which is where I pick a show that's between 6, 7, 8, or 10 episodes, and I'm going to review them episode to episode. And I know Daniel Miller, who is a fellow Brit, and he's also appeared on the channel a couple of times with me, and he's appeared on the Sci-Fi Century channel. He's going to be reviewing Koda Kai with me. So he's nearly through with the last of the 5th season, and then we're going to start on the 6th season and start reviewing that.
Yeah, I noticed they put out the new one. Is that split up, or is it like all there?
No, it's split up. So part 1 started on the 18th of July, and I believe part 2's hitting in October.
Okay.
So that's what I've got coming up, and there might be a few more surprises along the way.
I almost forgot. If anyone watching this is curious about the movie Twisters, I have a 30-second mini review that's 100% spoiler free. It's just straight to the point, my initial thoughts on the movie.
Are you going to do a full-on review later? Or?
I might do a full-on review, but I'm going to wait till it comes out on Blu-ray so I can watch it another time or two and go more in depth with it.
Oh, spot on. But like always, gentlemen, this has been a blast. It wasn't as fun as doing the Pumpkinhead one, because obviously we've missed one of our fellow regulars on here, which is from the Metal Old Mania. But hopefully he'll be back for the next one. And hopefully we'll pick a franchise that everyone is going to be excited to see and listen to our thoughts on. But this has been the Entertainment Headquarters. This has been Into the Darkness. And to all my guests, thanks for joining me. Take care, everybody. And please subscribe to all these guys' channels, because they're great channels.
What is your wish?
Not the fucking watch Wishmaster 3 or 4 again.
Oh.